So, good morning, everyone. We're going to start by laying down, and you're going to need your two blocks and you're going to need your blanket nearby. Um, and we'll fuss with them. We'll fuss with them a little bit later. But just, have your blocks where you can reach them and maybe have a blanket where you can get to it. Even if you want to put that blanket or that towel underneath your head, could be kind of a nice spot for it. And then lay down on your back. And maybe have your knees bent and your feet on the floor. And just let your upper body relax. Feel your shoulders descend toward the floor. Feel where you land on your sacrum, right? Are you fully into your low back? Are you overarching? And just see if you can land softly right around the center of your sacrum, right? Just below the hips. And then feel the back of the neck nice and long. Start to tap into your breath here. And start to notice any tension in your face, your jaw, your neck. And as you breathe, move that awareness down the body through your chest, your belly, your hips, your legs. And just see if there is any unnecessary tension that we could release, we could let go. And notice for you if it's easy to stay still or if you're fidgety, because I feel fidgety this morning and I'm just like, okay, why am I not settling into my mat? And so I'll just draw the breath there. Just draw the breath. And then place both hands on your lower belly. Let the elbows splay out to the sides. Make sure everything is comfortable. And as you take a deep breath in, feel your belly rise up toward the ceiling. And as you exhale, let it go. Good. And stay here, inhaling and exhaling. And as you inhale, the belly rises up toward the ceiling, and then the ribs, and then the chest. And we exhale, let it all go. Good. One more here. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale it, let it go. And then tilt your pelvis forward, which means that you're arching your lower back away from the floor. Okay, so that anterior pelvic tilt, your hands are still resting on your belly. Take a deep breath. On the exhale, go to a posterior or posterior tilt and round your back and flatten your low back to the floor. Good. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round your back. It's like doing this weird cat and cow or an exaggerated pelvic tilt and tuck. So keep going here. Inhaling as you arch. And exhaling as you draw in. Good. One more. Take it in. And exhale it all the way out. And then come to neutral again and find your neutral. Both hands still resting on your belly. And maybe you feel your front hip bones. And so it's interesting in Latin, the pelvis means kind of like a bowl. And so we think of this bowl and imagine that bowl is full of water. So if you anterior tilt it too much, that water's going to spill out. And if you posterior tilt too much, the water's going to spill out. So find the middle space where you can imagine in your mind's eye the water staying exactly where it should be, centered in this neutral pelvis. And then tone the belly a little bit. Lift just your right foot off the floor, just a little bit, few inches. And see if you tilted or tucked when you did that. Lower that foot down, lift the other. Try to keep the pelvis pretty steady, right? Pretty still. Good. And right foot again. And lower, left foot again. And lower. Good. Lift your right knee, take it to 90 degrees. And feel that the abdominal muscles have started to engage a little bit. Your legs at 90, your foot is flexed. Tone the belly in, feel that. And then draw your knee to your chest. Same knee, feel how you flatten and push it away. Maybe a little bit more arch, legs straight. And bring it in toward your chest. And straighten it. Good. One more here. Just bring it to chest and straighten the leg. And then let that foot come to the floor. Going to the other side, left leg goes to 90 degrees. Your hands are still resting on those hip bones, on that belly. And you feel when the belly engages, you feel if the pelvis shifts a whole bunch, right? Try to keep it somewhat neutral. And then draw the knee to chest. And straighten the leg. Notice that as you tone the belly, bring it in, right? The pelvis stays more neutral. So we're going to focus on a little bit of back body today, but so much of low back issues, good, bring that knee in and then bring that knee back to 90, hold and let it go. And then draw both knees to chest, rounding your back. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, bring your chin to your chest, lift your head, neck, shoulders off the floor, and lower legs go to 90. And last one here, tuck everything in, and lower the head, feet come right back to the floor. Good. Bring your right knee to your chest, straighten your left leg nice and long. You can take your hands behind your right knee. So especially if you feel some compression there, you've got space to work. Now, do the pelvic tilt, right? That anterior tilt. So there's tons of space behind your lower back. Feel that, and then imagine that you're gonna paste your whole front body back to the floor, but leave a little bit of space through your lower back. Your crown of your head stays long, tailbone stays long. You could fit a blueberry or two underneath your lower back. Squeeze the lower belly. It's kind of like knitting those sit bones towards center, and then lift your left leg a couple of inches. And notice if anything changed. Now, those hands behind your right knee, push your right knee away from you. The arms will straighten. So you're creating this isometric move where the left leg is lifted, the right leg pushing away. You can feel your belly starting to work. Good. Try to relax the shoulders even as you're doing this, and definitely relax your jaw. Good. Keep breathing, keep breathing. Push both feet away from you as if you could release that leg by pushing hard enough through the hands. Good. Bring your right knee back to chest, lower your left leg and switch sides. Left knee comes in, right leg just goes straight, right? So we find that neutral pelvis. Tone your belly in. Lift your right leg. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. Don't let your chin reach up toward the ceiling, and then push your left leg away from you. That's it. Breathe, 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 everybody. So both of them active, right? Maybe you notice your glute muscles a little bit active. I'm pushing that left leg away as hard as I can, reaching that right leg as long as I can. Space behind the lower back, but no overarching. And release, left knee to chest, right knee to chest. Good. Both feet to the floor. Take your hands behind your head. and breathe. And then notice, right? So your hands are going to support your head, but you're not pulling on your head. There's a big difference. So I want you to just start to lift your head off the floor. Try to keep it somewhat neutral. Try to keep the elbows more to the side. Notice your belly. Do a little bit of an arch, just a little one here. And then as you exhale, feel the tailbone lengthen toward your heels and feel the back come into neutral. Then take the low ribs, put those back down. There's still a little bit of space behind your lower back. See if you can lift both knees to 90. You can do one at a time, right? So that we don't pull. And notice, did you arch more in your lower back? Are the knees too close to the chest and you don't feel much of anything? What's going on here? Keep the knees where they are, but then straighten the right leg only. Woo. Your head is still lifted. If this is too much, let the head come back. Right knee in, left leg long. Good. Keep toning in through the ribs, through the belly, right leg long. Bring it in. Left leg long. Whew. Bring it in. Lower your head. Lower your feet. Turn your head side to side. That's it. Good. And then a little bit more of a core warm up. So again, hands behind your head, both knees bend, belly tones in. So there's just a little bit of space. Take your right elbow to your left knee and straighten your right leg. So, we've done these probably some point in our lives, but we're holding it this time. I'm gazing over that left thigh. Good. And release, switch sides. And switch sides. You got it. Whew. Switch sides. So notice, right? This is much harder. If you go slow and switch and switch and switch. I'm feeling these already. And switch. One more, both sides. Switch and switch. Good. And then give me 10 pretty quick. 1, 2, 3, belly tone. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Lower your head, feet to the floor. Turn your head side to side. Release that a little bit. And then take your feet wide on your mat and lower your knees to the right. And notice again. So adjust the legs as you need to if there's any pain, especially in your knees. You can bring your feet closer together. You can move them further apart, but just pause here. And then with your knees to the right, take your left arm over your head and see if you can find a stretch from your left quadricep, your left thigh muscle to the left side of your belly, all the way up through the arm. Good. And notice, right, as you press away with your left knee, not necessarily down, but away with your left knee, it gets a little bit deeper. Take your right heel optionally to the outside of your left thigh. This is going to go deeper, but keep pressing the knee away from you. So it's not about putting that knee on the floor. It's about creating length, especially through the belly, the psoas, the abdominal muscles. Take a really deep breath. If your foot is on your thigh, let that go. Bring both knees back to center. Release your left hand down and pause for a second. And then both knees go to the left. One side might be different than the other. So we always pay attention. We always pause at the easier version before we go deeper. Your right arm goes overhead. I tone the belly in so I'm not overarching my back. The right knee starts to press away. And I feel this sweet little stretch happening in the right thigh, right belly, maybe into the shoulders here. And again, only if it makes sense for you, place the left foot above the right knee. That's going to deepen it. But instead of letting it go to the floor, push the right knee away from you as if you could touch your knee toward the end of your mat. Big deep breath, everybody. Notice how that feels. If your foot is on your leg, let that go first. Bring your knees back to center, your hips, everything back to center. Your arm comes back down. And then grab your blanket. You should be able to do this laying down, but if not, you might have to sit up for a second. You're going to take your blanket and fold it in half from its normal square, and then put the blanket over your ankles, so over the tops of your ankles, and then very carefully, slowly straighten those legs toward the floor. So all you have is a blanket laying over the tops of your ankles. Grab both of your blocks, try to hold on to them the best you can with your palms, and then take those arms overhead. So my palms are face up, the blocks are resting on my hands. It's not super important if they fall off. The blanket is resting on my ankles. And then draw the lower belly in and draw the low ribs down. There's space behind your back, that's obvious. But don't flatten, but don't overarch. Keep that space pressing down toward the floor. Back of your neck is really long here. Try not to lift your chin. And then all I want you to do is on the exhale, lift the hands a couple of inches off the floor. Yep. And notice that something that simple is engaging your abdominal muscles, right? Like, what the heck? And lower them down. Good. Inhale first. Exhale, lift the hands just a few inches, 1, 2 inches. Good. Maybe start to squeeze the butt and lower down. Good. This time, isometrically lift the block. So you're not going to lift your hands off the floor. You're just going to use that same muscle energy. Squeeze your belly. See if your legs will lift even an inch off the floor. Woo! Yeah, feel your belly. Woo! And lower. Good. Inhale first. Exhale. See if you can lift both feet, if not one foot. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And lower. Woo-hoo. And kind of wiggle it out. There's not a whole lot of shaking going on here, but wiggle it out. All right, last set of two. We're going to see if we can lift all four limbs. So what do we have to do? We take that arch out of the back, right? We're not flat, but we're close. The ribs reach in, the back of the neck gets long, and we see if we can lift all four. Whew, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, lower them down. Take a deep breath, everybody, and let it out. Good. We got one more. See, I'm being nice today. I'm only doing 2 of each of these because they're hard for me too. All right. So when you're ready, knit everything down, right? Feel the hip bones draw toward each other, the glutes squeeze, lift everything an inch or two for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower. And then with those blocks in your hands, see if you can take them in front of you and press them up to the ceiling, right? As if you were holding 2 weights above you. Hopefully you have the nice light blocks so that if one falls, it doesn't bonk you in the nose. Squeeze the belly in, squeeze the ribs down, lift the legs, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go. Hold the arms there if you can. Little bit of shoulder work. We got one left. Here we go. Ready? Squeeze down first and lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, yeah. Lower those legs, lower the blocks, set those blocks aside. Bend your knees, bring the knees up to you. Take the blanket off your ankles. Good. And just rock side to side for a second. Maybe some nice knee rolls, right? Circle those knees. And then let the knees roll to one side. Press all the way up. Find a nice seated pose. Have one of your blocks near you or both. You can have one to each side. That would be all right too. Remember to sit in a way that makes sense for you. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, just let them come down. Good. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, down. One more right here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, let it come down. Roll your shoulders and release those. Grab the block with your left hand and take it up. As you inhale, I want you to reach that block up and reach it overhead as if you could touch the floor. You can let the left hip lift up. You can stretch, stretch, stretch. Maybe it drops, maybe not. And then inhale, reach up. Whew. Good. Same block. Take it out to the side. Bring it across. And open it wide. Good. Bring it across. Open it wide. One more here. Bring it across. Open it nice and wide. Last stretch. Reach up. Think about it, right? So this time, plant your left hip. Start to stretch over. See how far you can go gently, right? Without the hip lifting. See where it'll go. Whoo. And inhale it up. And let go. Good. Grab that block with your right hand. Left hand goes out to the side. Inhale it up. Exhale. First find the side stretch. And then keep on going. Let the right hip lift up. Let the right knee lift up. See what happens if that block comes close to the floor, right? Big old stretch on the side body. And then inhale it up. Exhale. Let it go. Take that arm out to the side. Bring it across. And open it. Bring it across. Good. Open it up. Last one here. Bring it across. Open it up. Arm out to the side. This time we keep the right hip planted. Really press down. Really press down. Just see where you'll go. Try to be honest with yourself. This side always lifts more for me. So I've got to press it down, press it down, press it down. And inhale it up. And release it. Whew, good. Roll your back. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale to your heart. Interlace, press up. And then circle gently. Watch your back. All the way around. You're thinking, what's this got to do with my back? Right? It's all got to do with everything, right? Good. One more big circle. And bring it center. Exhale, release it down. Roll it out. You'll need your blanket. Before we get up, we're going to do one more thing. So hopefully you have a blanket, or if not, if you're using a nice big towel, like a big bath towel, big beach towel, just roll it into a little burrito. Okay. So it's not too wide. And then place it on your mat about midway or so. And then sit to the front of it and start to lower yourself down, feet to the floor. Be mindful here. So we're laying down over our low backs. If this is really uncomfortable, then scoot your hips, your tailbone down more, closer to your heels, to do less of an angle on your lower back. And just notice that, right? How does that feel in your body? Maybe the arms go overhead. Breathe. Right knee to chest. Press it all the way out. Lower that leg. Left knee to chest. Press it out. Lower it. And feel this little back bend happening, right? So notice that the low ribs are reaching up. Notice that you're in a very strong anterior tilt. If there was water in that bowl, we'd be spilling it all over the place. So what I want you to do is draw your low ribs down toward the blanket and just feel that. And then draw the belly down toward the blanket and feel how much is going on in your core when you get that feedback from the blanket. Feel all that, keep drawing it in, and then imagine someone pulling your ribs down toward your belly, both hands behind your head. Lift your head, lift your head, lift your head, reach the arms forward, and see if you can sit up. Good. Squeeze your belly. Go slow. Lower, lower, lower. At some point, you're going to hit that blanket. Keep going slow, keep going slow. Let your torso and head come to the floor, arms go overhead. Squeeze your ribs in, squeeze your belly in, maybe even squeeze your little butts, right? And then reach the arms up. Start to reach, 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 reach. See if you can come all the way up. And slowly, as slow as you can, reasonably speaking, start to take it down. Feel the blanket. Go, okay, there's my contact. I'm going to spread my ribs over that blanket and lower all the way down. Well done. Bend your knees, lift your hips, and take your little blanket roll underneath your sacrum. So it's the same spot if we were sitting on a block, right? It's no longer in your lower back. Bring your right knee to your chest. Straighten your left leg long. So what I'm hoping you feel is the front of your left leg, the psoas muscle. When that muscle is really tight, it takes your back into an overarch. So it can really create some low back issues that otherwise we're not normally aware of. So here we are in a little bit of an anterior tilt. I want you to draw the belly in and maybe tuck in just a little bit here so we're not overly lifted. And then optionally lift your left leg off the floor just an inch or two. Try to relax the foot a little bit. Relax your jaw for sure. Breathe, and then take your left leg out to the left a little bit. Keep squeezing the belly. Take it back to center and take it across to the right just a little. Feel that stretch along the hip. Bring it center. Draw your left knee to your chest. Straighten your right leg nice and long. Tone in through the belly so you don't overarch. Squeeze. Breathe. You can let that right foot hover a few inches. Try to relax the foot. Take the right leg out to the right a little. Bring it to center. Bring it across. Feel the stretch in that outer right hip. Bring it center. Both knees to chest. Both feet come to the floor. Walk one leg straight. Walk the other leg straight. So now we're in this little kind of sideways or a little banana pose, little different banana pose. Arms go overhead. Maybe even point your toes and just stretch your whole front body. And then pretend your feet are walking a little bit. So stretch your left foot, stretch your right foot. Yeah, right. So we're just kind of shifting those heels up and down a little bit to get into the belly. Good. Next time your left foot is shifted forward, just feel this big long stretch. Maybe the left arm goes over toward the right a little bit. Keep pressing both sit bones, right, or both parts of your sacrum to the blanket so that you don't overarch. Deep breath. Good. Bring it center. Shift into your right foot. Push that right heel away from you. Maybe the right arm goes over to the left. Breathe. And center. Good. Slide one heel up, slide the other heel up. You're still sacrum to blanket. Press into your upper arms and elbows. Your fingers are pointing up toward the ceiling. Lift your hips off your blanket. Yep. Squeeze your hips. Lengthen your tailbone. Press into your feet. And then imagine somebody has your shins and they're trying to pull your shins forward so that the thigh muscles get even longer. That's it. Good. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up. Exhale, lower down. If this irritates your lower back, don't lift so high, right? Try that, see if that works. The other option here is to turn the feet out slightly lower. Good. 3 more. Lift your hips, squeeze. Lower down to the blanket. 2 more. Lift and lower. Whew. And lift and lower. Oh, nice job. Simply turn on to either side on your blanket and then press all the way back up. Move your blanket out of the way. Come to a seat. Bend both knees, lean back with your hands, but keep your spine nice and long. Windshield wiper those knees. Big deep breaths, everybody, right? If we hold the breath, we hold that tension in the muscles. And feel your, right? So we were doing this last class and just feel that roll over the glutes, right? As we break up some of that muscle tension. Next time your knees are to the left, pause. Maybe sit up a little bit taller. One, you're going to stay here. Two, that left ankle goes above the right knee. That right knee will drop to the floor. And we inhale and reach with the right arm. Breathe. Don't stress your knees, right? An option here would be to put a block under your left knee so that it isn't so deep. And if it still feels stressful, you keep the legs in windshield wiper. Good. Release that right arm. Take it back behind you. Release your left foot. Take it up. Go to the other side. So your knees are in windshield wiper. No pain, right? Your right foot goes to the outside of your left knee. I had to figure out which side I was on. Breathe. And then the left arm comes up and it just reaches over and stretches. And inhale it up. Release it. Release your foot. Bring those knees back up. Straighten both legs and shake them out. So this time I want you to lean back a little bit, but lift your chest, tone your belly. Weird little Dandasana here. Press the legs in, open up your shoulders, lift one foot. So it's almost like partway between a boat pose and Dandasana. I'm letting you lean back. Good. If you can, squeeze your belly, try to level out your hips, release your arms. Don't let the chest collapse and don't let the lower back round toward whatever is behind you. Whoo, breathe. Good. Lower the legs. Sit up tall, arms up. Really up, really up. Release your arms. Hands come right back behind you. Lean back a little. Squeeze the belly. Lift your chest. Lift your other leg. I know. Breathe. Lift your chest. Take the arms up. Find that. Whoo. That's it. Keep lifting from your sternum, right? From that chest bone, from the crown of the head. Lower the leg, but sit really tall, really tall, really, really, really tall. And let go. Good. Shake out those legs, everybody. And let's come to table pose. You might want your blanket under your knees, right? That's always a wonderful thing to do to help soften the impact on your knees. Maybe your blocks are up toward the front of your mat. So table pose, and you can do this on elbows if your wrists are talking to you today. Find cat and cow, but think of it in the way that we were talking about the bowl, right? And how when we drop into cow pose, anterior tilt, here we are spilling all the water, and then draw the belly in, draw the ribs in, tuck, tuck, tuck. And here we are in cat. Good. One more. Go through. Exhale. Tone in. And then find neutral again. I find it more challenging to find neutral in this pose because we were out in space. So how does it feel to you? Can you tone the belly in, tone the lower ribs in, still maintain a little bit of an arch in your lower back? Hold all that, squeeze your belly, flip your toes under, and move to downward facing dog. Pedal your feet, walk it out, stretch it out, everybody. You got it. And then walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Find your breath. Soften your knees, bend them nice and deep. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, release it, and shake it out. Good job. I'm going to take off this outer shirt and see if my little ear potty things will stay in place because I got myself warm. So notice how you feel and that connection to your core, right? To your core. So grab your blocks and place them in front of you at that highest level. I'll turn sideways so you can hopefully see what I'm up to. And then find a nice forward fold that is pretty neutral spine-wise, right? And you can relax here a little bit, try to lengthen through the back of your neck, soften the backs of your knees. And then walk those blocks forward so that your whole upper body just got really long. Your ears are between your arms, your knees are soft, your weight is in the center of your feet. The knees are soft. Let me remind you, right? We don't want to pop them out because that goes right to your low back. So breathe and then imagine you could pull the blocks back. So isometrically engage your upper body. Start to feel this and then lift the sit bones a little bit. You feel the hamstrings, right? These are soft. Sit bones are lifting. If you kept lifting the sit bones, you would move into more cat or cow-like pose. So instead of being there, I'm going to keep the sit bones lifted, but squeeze the belly in. Hold all that. Feel that kind of neutral spine. Walk your blocks back in front of you. Bend your knees a whole bunch and inhale, reach up. Exhale, release it. Roll it out. Good. So this time, come back down to your blocks. Keep them up high for now. And walk your right foot kind of toward the center line and cross your left foot in front of it. Walk the feet as much as you need to. I had to walk my right foot out a little bit more to the left so that your left knee is in front, your right leg is in the back, your knees are bent, and you're pressing your back knee into the front leg. In this pose, it can be really easy to hyperextend the back leg. So keep pressing it in and then start to feel as you come into a forward fold. Woo, right? For me, that back leg's hip is getting a very nice stretch. So the blocks are up high. Maybe that's super, super easy for you. Keep the weight in the middle of your feet. Maybe you lower the blocks down. Whew. Breathe through it. Maybe that's still pretty sweet. You're going to go one lower and see how that feels. When it gets to that intense, I don't want to hold this place, you've gone too deep, you've gone too far. So just pause here and breathe wherever your blocks are. And then take the blocks at whatever level they are, walk them forward. Stretch through your front body, but press through your heels. Ooh, yeah. Big deep breath, everyone. Now, tone the belly. Lift the sit bones. Squeeze the belly and the low ribs in. Walk your blocks back. If you went low, take them back high so that you can lift halfway. Bend the knees a whole bunch. Undo your feet. And come up to standing. Good. Take just a moment to get your equilibrium. When you do a lot of forward folding, that blood can really mess with you. All right, here we go. Other side. Hands to blocks. This time you walk your left foot over toward the right, cross your legs, and then readjust your feet. Push into your back leg. And feel maybe more intense, maybe less intense, maybe the same on this side as we reach in through the hips on this side. So you're stretching that left hip, that back leg's hip. Maybe you start to lower down on the blocks a little bit, but then pause. Notice any tendency to lean into the heels. Try to stay center of the feet. Just find your breath. Now, tone the belly. Lift your sit bones. Draw the lower ribs in. Feel that difference. Maybe the block's lower, one more, maybe not. Just depends on where you are today, how much hiking or sitting or running you've been doing. And then walk your blocks forward. Stretch your front body. Let the head drop between the arms. Press into both feet. Press your back knee into your front leg. Yep. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then walk your blocks back. Take them up high because it's just easier to transition without moving into your backs. Squeeze your belly, lift halfway up. Undo your legs. Bend your knees and come all the way up. Good, and exhale. Shake it out, everybody. Good, let's take the blocks back to the front of your mat and take yourself to the front of your mat. And when you're ready, inhale up. Exhale all the way down. Whew, just notice, right? How's that starting to feel? Hips, belly, lower back. Bend your knees a bunch. Take both hands to your knees and come halfway up. And then check out your pelvis. Are you spilling the water, right? And if you are, lengthen through the tailbone, crown of the head so the pelvis feels neutral. And then reach behind and see if you can feel the muscles on either side of your spine and see if you can feel the spine of the lower back popping out of those muscles, right? So for me here, I feel a little bit of spine popping out at the low end. So I'm going to lift my chest until that spine kind of sucks back in between the spinal muscles. Once you find that, knees are bent, arms come out. Chair pose. Yep. So chair pose, right? The back muscles are working. If you feel them, you should feel kind of a little pop of muscles on either side of your spine, having to hold you slightly tilted forward, right? Slightly all this other stuff going on. Belly squeeze, ribs are in, chest lifts. Breathe, stand all the way up. And exhale to your heart. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Okay, in my forward fold, I feel like a little dinosaur here, right? Feel all my ribs or all my vertebra popping up. Bend your knees, take your hands to your knees, engage your legs, lift halfway up. How does that feel? Belly and low ribs tone in. I'm going to reach back. Oh, there's my little baby spine, right? So I'm going to lift my chest until that spine kind of draws back in. You can feel the muscles working behind it. Belly squeezes, arms come out, chair pose. Imagine there's a block between your legs and you're squeezing that block. Find your breath. Yeah, right. So how's this chair pose feeling as compared to your normal? Is there any difference when we play with it from a back body standpoint? Stand all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Bend both knees, step back, right leg. Lower your knee to the floor. Take your hands to your blocks. Lift up your spine. Find your good alignment, right? Front knee, front ankle. Maybe scrunch your toes of the front foot a little bit to get a nice big arch underneath your left foot. And breathe. Now, feel your pelvis. Here we are again, right? I'm going to tuck in the pelvis a little bit. I'm going to squeeze the ribs in a little bit, the belly in a little bit, and then I'm going to take the arms up so that I feel like my pelvis is pretty even, right? One side to the other. Press into the ball mound of your left foot. Find this big stretch. Breathe. And then tuck in to lower back down. Good. If your blocks are stable, lift your right knee, Step back with your left, step forward with your right. You can do that without blocks as well. Lower your left knee to the floor. Maybe scrunch up your front toes. Think about it. Right now, my pelvis is spilling forward big time. So I'm going to squeeze in, squeeze in, ribs, belly, all that, and take the arms up. Find your breath. You got it. Press through your back foot, squeeze in through your front foot. Notice. And then start to squeeze in. It's almost like, right, this little suck in of everything in your core to take your body forward. Lift your knee, take both of your blocks flat so they're at the lowest level. Squeeze in through your belly and come to plank. Hands on blocks. You got it. Squeeze in, squeeze in. Now, lower your knees, but keep your plank. That's tricky for some people because they want to poke the butt out or they want to drop it too low. So try to keep tall. Here we are again. Imagine an anterior tilt, right? That doesn't feel good. So belly in, ribs in, chest long, tailbone long. Think about chair pose. What did we just do, right? Lift your knees off the floor. See if you can hold wrist issues. Come on down to your elbows. Breathe. You got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. Take the knees wide on your mat and come to child's pose for a brief little respite. And even in your child's pose or whatever resting pose you've chosen, just feel the length of your spine and notice, right? Maybe you wiggle a little bit side to side and check it out. That's it. And then come up to table pose. You can set your blocks just off to the side. We're going to come right back to those. Walk the hands forward, puppy stretch, right? Knees over or under hips. Drop the chest down. And then walk your hands to the right. The left hip presses down, the left hand reaches. We're stretching out that whole left side. Now tone in the belly and ribs a little bit and feel the change in the stretch. Good, walk your hands center. Go to the other side, go to that left side and breathe. That's it. And walk center. Come back up to table pose. Bring your blocks back to your mat. Put your hands on your block, step forward, right leg. Tone in through your belly, your ribs, feel the chest lift. Lift your left knee off the floor this time. If you can, optional, right? You can always keep that knee down. Keep your left hand on your block. Reach your right arm forward. Keep the hips centered. Squeeze your left glute. Fire up your left leg. Start to follow that arm up, up, up. You're looking up toward the ceiling. Nice, lovely twist. And then reach the arm back behind you. That's it. Breathe. Squeeze, 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 everybody. Reach it up. Take it forward. Set it down. Make sure your blocks are steady if you're going to transfer with hands on blocks. So switch your right leg back, your left leg forward. Squeeze your belly, tone in through the low ribs, find neutral. And part of that neutral is not letting the chest drop down to the floor, right? That part as well. When you're ready, keep your right hand on your block. Reach the left arm forward. As you reach the left arm, press back through the right heel. Follow it up. Slow, slow, slow. Pause at the ceiling. And then reach it back. Breathe, everybody. Find that pose. And lift up. Reach it forward. Lower down. Hands to your blocks. We're switching again. Left foot back, right foot forward. Lower your left knee to the floor. Tone in through the hip, the belly, the ribs. Reach your right arm forward. Here we are again. Lift up. Follow it. Reach it back. Here's where it's going to get tricky. You're going to squeeze in. You're going to lengthen your sit bones. Try to lift your left arm off your block. Oh, yeah. That's it. Lower your left hand to the block. Follow your right hand back. Lift your left knee. Transfer. Switch sides. Lower your right knee. Right hand stays on the block. Belly, ribs squeeze in. Left arm reaches out. When you're ready, lift up, lift up, lift up. Reach back. Feel your whole core engage and then lift off your block to open up those arms. You got it. Release your right hand back to the block. Reach your left arm up and over. Hand comes to your block. Last set, I promise. Lift your right knee, switch sides. Right foot forward, left foot back. Make sure your feet are wide enough that you have a solid, steady base. Now, knee down is your option. Squeeze in through your belly. Your left hand stays on your block. Right arm reaches. Follow it and reach. Here's where it gets a little more tricky. Squeeze the heck out of your legs and your belly. Maybe you come to fingertips. Maybe you lift up. Whoo, yeah, right? Squeeze the legs together. Imagine those hands are pressing into walls, the backs of the hands. Keep it wide. And then tilt forward, hand to block, hand to other block. Whoo, yeah. We'll get child's pose after this, I promise. Step back, step forward. Wide enough base, squeeze the legs together. Find your pose. Right hand stays on your block. Left arm reaches. Press through your back leg. Reach up. Reach back. Maybe it's just fingertips. Maybe that's enough. Or lift up and reach the arms. That's it. Whoo. Scissor the legs together, everybody. Find your pose. Squeeze your belly ribs. Lower your hand. Lower the other hand. Holy moly. Lower your right knee. Bring your left knee back to match. And come on down, child's pose. Whew. Big deep breath, everybody. We're getting there. We're almost there, right? All right. So from here, come on up. We're going to come all the way to standing, but you'll need your blocks, so keep them near you. Come to standing in your most beautiful yogi way. Maybe you walk your hands back from down dog, and then come on up. Oh, and roll your shoulders. Shake out your wrists. You got it. All right. Blocks are in front of you at their highest level. I'm going to turn sideways so the blocks don't. Good. Roll your shoulders back. Stand tall. Right foot towards center. Left foot in front. Here we are again, right? Hinge from your hips. Come on down to your blocks. And breathe. If the blocks can go lower, go ahead and take them lower. Just depends on your hamstrings and your hips. This time I want you to take your right hand block out to the right and lean toward your right. You should feel a deeper stretch in your right hip. Be mindful. Can't go too far because otherwise you're just going to topple over. Just stretch it. And center. Bring your right block back to center. Release. Switch sides, right leg's in front of left. Remember that back knee. Your left side block goes out to the left and you lean toward the left. You know, the body can give you pretty quick feedback on what side's tighter or not as tight. Breathe. And center. Good. Release your feet. Release your blocks to the side. Plant your hands and come to downward facing dog. Big deep breath. Bring your feet together. Step your left in front of your right. Adjust your right foot more to the left. Bend into both knees and reach back. Maybe the heels dropped closer to the floor. Big stretch for the back leg. Lean maybe to the right a little bit. Come center. Release it. Switch sides, right foot in front. You're crossing your legs. Bend the knees into each other. Pause. Make sure your upper body is nice and engaged. Lean toward the left a little. And center. Undo your feet. Lower to your knees. And just pause. Maybe hero pose, maybe child's pose. We're coming to it, everybody. Shake it out. All right. So for this last move of this kind of series that my brain's been on, I want you to take either your blanket and fold it so that it makes a square, or you can take a block. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay on our side on the blanket or a block. And sometimes you can do a block and a blanket over it. Really, it's just to kind of soften it. So I'll show you on the block, but if you have a blanket, you might like that as well. So your blanket or your block is here. I'm going to lay on the side, be gentle, find as best you can a little soft spot, and then stretch out your legs. You're on your elbow to start. If that block is like no way, no how, towel or something over it will help. And then scissor your legs so that I'm on my left hip. So my right leg is going to come forward. So we've scissored those legs, and then flex both feet. You got it, right? From here, press into your forearm. Take your front hand, lift off your block, side plank, and take the arm up. Breathe. Keep the head in alignment. Press into the fullness of your whole forearm, all the way to your fingertips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the hand, gently lower down to your block. If you can easily, just switch sides. I'm going to turn my back to you, so I'm sorry about that. I'm on my right hip. My top leg goes forward. My back leg is back. Both feet are flexed. I'm on my elbow, pressing in. Use your free hand to lift your hips up. Squeeze in and reach the arm up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your hand, lower your hip, and come off of your block. Set your block aside. All right. Choices here. We're going to do side plank again. I'm going to do it on my hand so that my arm is straight. Some of you I know with wrist stuff, you're going to come back to elbow. Okay. So you decide, legs straighten and one leg goes in front of the other. If you're on your hand, make sure that your wrist and your shoulder kind of line up, but your hand is forward. So here we are again. We're going to use our free hand. We're going to push up. Flex the feet, squeeze in, reach, take the top arm up. Optionally, whoo, that's it. Fire up the legs, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the legs, the back knee presses into the front leg. That's it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down. Yeehaw. Switch sides, right? See, if we delay, then it's just that much harder. So we might as well just get right to it. Remember, being down on elbow is an option. Your legs are straight, top leg goes forward, back leg goes back. Use your strength to press up off the floor. Flex your feet. Reach the arm up. Don't let the hips press back. Press your back knee into your front knee. Woo. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Nice. Side plank's tricky. It really is. Shake out your wrists if you were on your hands. Shake out your shoulders, especially if you were on elbows. And then grab, let's just do blanket. If you have your blanket and it's still folded like this, grab that. If you're on block, maybe you have something, even your mat to cushion it. So lay on your right hip again, but this time you're getting to lay down. Your bottom knee is bent, your top leg is straight. You should feel this nice little stretch through that whole left side. Try to stay to the side body because it's really easy to roll forward here. So try to stay in the side body, tailbone gets long. Your left leg is really reaching, big stretch. Your left arm goes overhead. That's it. And then lift the left foot a little bit and take it back behind you. Any amount. You can even let it come back to the floor, but I like it lifted to stretch front body, front belly. There was a teacher that had an interesting comment. He was doing Sphinx pose, and he said, feel the skin of your belly stretch up toward your chest. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that stretch of the belly toward the chest. Big deep breath, everybody. Release your left leg, bend your knee, and then switch sides. Either you're going to roll over or you're just going to lift up and go to the other side. So laying on your blanket. You can even do this without anything under hip, because if you've got tender hips and you're on block, it can be really yucky. So lay your head down on your arm, bend your bottom knee, stretch your top leg, your right leg straight out, tone in through the belly. Maybe the foot comes to the floor, maybe not. It's interesting. This side is way tighter for me. I'm just going to let my toes rest on the floor for a moment. See if I can open up psoas here, right? That core work, psoas gets stronger, but it can also get tighter. Lift the leg, maybe flex the foot, tone in through the belly and the front ribs so that you're not arching, and then reach the leg back any amount that you would like. Find your stretch. Don't go into back bend here, right? Just stretch the leg back through these hip flexors. Breathe. Sometimes it's a difference of 1 inch with that leg up or down to find the belly stretch that you're looking for. That's it. And release, bend that knee. Press yourself up off whatever it is you're laying on and set that aside. Come down to your backs. We're back where we started. Knees are bent all the way to the floor. And pause right here. Hands go back to your bellies. You can feel your hip bones. Press your low back into the floor. Nice pelvic tuck. And then release it to a soft arch, not a big one. Good. Press down and back. And release to a soft arch. One more time here. Press down, press back. Release it to a soft arch. And then come to neutral. Take your left leg straight up. Space behind your lower back. Even if you have to put a hand there, right? Keep that blueberry, those couple blueberries back there. Externally rotate. Come to figure 4. Left ankle to right knee. Draw your knees to your chest, but do not lose that natural arch in your low back. Right? What that means for most of us is that those knees aren't coming as close to the chest as they normally are. Good. Breathe. Lean a little bit to the right. So whichever way your foot is facing is the way you are leaning. You're going to feel more stretch in the hip. That's it. Big deep breath. And then take your that whole complex over to the left. Let your left thigh come to the floor. Your right leg is staying suspended, pressing knee to ankle, and open it up for a little baby twist here. Deep breath. Now squeeze your belly a lot, because when we're in this position, if we try to pull those legs up, we can reach into the low back. So really engage your core, maybe press into your arms, bring the knees back to center, release your foot to the floor, release your other foot to the floor. Pause for a moment, and then let your right leg come up to the ceiling. External rotation, come to figure 4. Remember the space behind the lower back. Even if your knees are pretty far away from you, a space behind your low back. It's not big. Just breathe. And then lean a little bit toward the left, right? As we do that, again, we get a little more stretch in that bent knee or that right knee's hip. And then bring it center, go all the way to the right. Your right knee comes to the floor. You're keeping that figure 4 the whole time. Arms out, cactus or straight. Think about maintaining that neutral spine. Squeeze into the belly. Bring your knees back to center. Lower your foot to the floor. Lower your other foot to the floor. Take both feet wide on your mat. Release both knees to your left. Final one here. Reach the right knee away. You might feel like there's a lot more room, a lot more space here. And center. Go to the other side. And center, both knees to chest. Both legs one at a time, nice and straight. Reach them as long as you can to the outer edges of your mat. Space behind your lower back, but your pelvis is balanced beautifully so the water stays in. Arms come on down, Savasana. And then once again, as you start to move into Savasana, feel where there is any unnecessary tension. Okay, maybe it is in your jaw, maybe it is in your belly, maybe it's in your hips. Adjust so that that tension is as little as possible. And just feel, right? Just feel your body settling in, feel your mind quieting down. Maybe we send messages of gratitude through our bodies. Feel yourself soften. Let go of anything that you are thinking about. See if you can get just a little softer, a little more surrender in your pose. Feel your soft breath. And then very, very slowly, truly slowly, start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, bending one knee and then the other knee, drawing both knees into chest, letting your back round, curling in, and then letting those knees roll to one side or the other, pausing in fetal pose, truly pausing. Fetal pose is also called seedling pose. And I often think about the seeds that we are planting both on our mats and off our mats. So take that in. And as you're ready, press all the way back up to your seated pose.